Morning, morning.
Morning.
Richard.
How's everyone?
Good, how are you?
Doing outstanding. Go ahead.
Richard, with Gabe Barkley, someone who's been a little bit inconsistent with recovering his punts or just receiving them, what's the message to your unit when you see a guy that has put the ball on the ground?
Yeah, our message is to our unit is the same. Like, we need to go out and we need to execute. Go 1-0 this week. Focus on the details, fundamentals, technique, and go out and try to play our best brand of football.
Has anything changed with the weather that extremely cold?
I mean, nothing really. I mean, for us, it's the same. I mean, we practice in it all the time. Obviously, the ball and the kicking game can be affected based on the weather. Obviously, the ball's harder, doesn't travel as far. But I tell you what, their specialists and our specialists have both played in it and both been in soldiers. So looking forward to it.
Do you attribute weather to the landing zone issues? I know both kickers had issues with it last week. Was that a reason for it, or?
Yeah, no, I don't attribute it to that. I mean, that's something, you know, in regards to that, Cairo just came off making a really good 41-yard field goal, and we have a lot of confidence in him to do that, and he's done an outstanding job in that area. I can't speak to what their issue was, technically, what they feel, on their ball out of bounds that they kicked. But I trust Cairo to do that in all those situations.
Do you remember your?
Say it again.
What did you think happened with Cairo? Like, why did it go wrong?
Yeah, he just didn't hit a good ball. Yeah, he just didn't hit a good ball. But we're not going to shy away from doing that in the future at all. So
Do you remember your coldest game?
my coldest, I don't remember. I mean, I've been in a couple cold ones. I've been in Green Bay in January in the playoffs. I can't remember how cold that one was. I remember being there one time when it was 3 degrees or maybe -3 or something like that. I can't remember, but I don't know. I mean, I just focus on next week. I've been doing this, fortunate enough to be doing it 18 years, so I've been in a lot of cold games. I've been in a lot of hot games too, so been in a lot. But I wish I had a better answer for you to remember which one was the coldest.
On the landing zone, is that a matter of the different angles that it takes to make that kick going from field goal to kickoff?
Yeah, I mean it just it's the contact on the football. So like when they're good, they're good. Everybody loves them. Hey, great job. But there have also been issues, and it's all the way across the league. Like when they're short of the landing zone, when they happen close to the 2-minute warning, and you know, they're trying to drive, like all different types. So it's just ball contact. It doesn't. I don't take that to have anything to do with the field goal. I just take it to be every rep is his own rep. So, and we're looking forward to hit some great ones in past games, and he hit some great ones in practice this week. So, and he hit some good deep ones this week. So we'll see what's best pregame.
In general, do you think that there will be different trends over the next couple of years in terms of how teams are dealing with this? Like, is it if a dirty ball is popular this year, does that mean maybe something else might be next year? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are going to be totally different trends. Like as this thing evolves, I mean, it's like you're seeing a lot of big plays. It may be, I think it's 68 plus 40 kickoff yard returns this year. Like it's a huge number. So like I think what coaches, players, fans, what everybody has to get used to is that this play is a play, and it's being returned more than 70% of the time. And there are some huge plays that are coming out of these plays. And I think that's affected the punt return game as well, because there's one of those years for teams where there's a whole bunch of plays and a lot of different phases. I think it may be 13 punt return touchdowns this year. Like that's high. So it's affecting every phase of the football game. It's affecting field goal block for some reason. I think all of that stuff, because you got to you take this huge amount of plays that went from 20 something percent to 70, 80 something percent, but it's still the same time on the field. It's still the same time in most cases of reps. Like you can't squeeze more time into a day. So it's just something I think everybody's gonna have to get used to.
Why do you think that punt returns, or do you think, in what way do you think punt returns being up might be related to kick returns being up?
Just because of the drive start average and where you have to punt the ball from, or what happens because of it, your roster and the way your roster's built. Because you got to have more teamers if you're gonna have that many more plays, or you're gonna suffer the consequences.
defense has been having a number of injuries. Obviously, that probably has a domino effect on teams. Who have you seen adjust, and what adjustments have you had to make?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, because it's something that's never really talked about, but it happens across the league. Like, when you lose players on offense or defense, it's always going to have a domino effect. Stuff you've heard the saying, "Crap rolls downhill." People say it a different way than that, but that's what it is. So it has a different effect. But then guys have to step up. So that's why we were proud of a guy like Nico who stepped up when he had his opportunity coming off the practice squad to make all those plays that he made. And it's our job to just keep developing these guys. But I mean, we got a test coming in here this week in Cleveland. I mean, I think Corey is an outstanding punter. Great hang distance ratio. Like he's a lefty, so we got to be prepared for that in the cold. Like we're gonna have to play our best brand of ball, and some of those guys you're talking about, younger guys, they're gonna have to step up.
Do you guys do any trips to Soldier Field practice wise anymore? Or are you guys beyond that point?
No, we do them. We do them at times. If it's needed, we'll do it. We'll do whatever it takes to win. Like I don't whatever it takes to win. Within my morals, I'm doing it. So I'm doing anything.
So you guys do that.
Oh yeah, we do it. Yeah,
Is that something you do more when the weather is nasty? Is that part of why you would go to Soldier Field?
that's part of it, and then part of it is just sometimes you just want to change up your routine, and keep guys on edge and keep them playing. So
Thank you.
good. All right, thank you.
From your standpoint, do you think that's part of starting fast, is like getting those short completions and a quicker start?
Yeah, I think it really is across the board on the offense. You want to try to get going, whether that is us establishing, pad level and get off with cadence, or it's the quarterback finding completions early, pass catchers being able to get the ball in their hands and kind of get that feel. You really want to try to get your guys in a rhythm early. That's why every team in the league puts these openers together, kind of to get off on the right foot. You kind of know what you're anticipating going into the game. But yeah, absolutely. I think that it's important for us to start fast. Obviously, in the previous game we didn't, and it was a big reason why we end up kind of chasing there at the end. And it's something that we're really focused on moving forward.
How do you practice that? Is there a way to practice getting off to a fast start?
I think it's really just the preparation going in, making sure that we really leave no stone unturned, and then everybody feels really good about whatever those plays that we call early, we go out and execute and kind of get going. We talked about getting the first down, quite frequently in our locker room and with our offense. But that's just something that's kind of the way you live. You got to be really comfortable going into the game and feeling good about the plan.
As acknowledged examples within every game where there's a primary read open with run after catch opportunity. In addition to just showing it and going through it with Caleb, how do you create the action to hit on those more regularly?
Well, first and foremost, like you're trying to simulate that in practice as much as you can. So you're trying to give the most accurate look that you can give from a defensive perspective, exactly the timing and all those things. It's why the whole roster is so important, because those guys are a lot of times giving us the look that is training the quarterback and how to operate. And so that way when he gets to Sunday and something flashes in front of his eyes, it's not the first time he's seen it. And I would say that's probably the primary way that we train him in those situations, to try to get the ball out in front of the runner, get him a runner's ball, and let him get into the defense.
And simulate Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that's a big challenge. Not a lot of guys like him. Obviously you're trying to simulate it as best you can on scout teams and things like that, and yet at the same point in time, he provides a very unique challenge, one that those guys just don't grow on trees. And so he's a guy that we're very aware of. You study a lot of tape during the week and just having a plan to handle him. But that's really the main thing is, we maintain focus on that player throughout the game, and we know where he is and kind of have a plan for how to handle him.
Who plays on scout team?
Really, we have a number of guys that'll play defensive end that'll kind of sub through. But it will change based on who's getting more reps on defense and kind of working through that.
So Ozzie, I think, has faced Crosby, Watt, Parsons. Now this guy's even better.
Yeah, I think those guys are all kind of in that same conversation.
So what has Ozzie gotten out of his rookie year facing those first three guys? What's come from that experience?
I think that more so than anything, you go into games. You've watched these guys. He's a rookie, so he's watched these guys from afar for a long time, and the first thing is going in and feeling like you belong in the game. And I think that he has performed well enough that he can feel confident going into the game, and yet at the same point in time, understanding how to prep during the week, what he needs to be watching, his set pattern, what his plan is on third down, and equally how he's going to handle this stuff on base downs. But really just going through the process, no different than a quarterback going through a game plan process and understanding, how he prepares during the week. I think that's the biggest thing for Ozzie. Just the experience. You really can't measure that.
Caleb yesterday said that everything goes right on the play, like he's doing everything right, and then maybe at the end, one little thing goes wrong to, sabotage a play. What's your reaction to that? And does that also mean that he's close? Because he's saying like he's doing it all right, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong.
That's every play. It's every single little detail, and you got 11 guys out there trying to do a job, and all it takes is one miss or one guy not doing his job, and it can sabotage the whole operation. And so, I would say Caleb is the same way. There are times where you're looking at it and it's like that's exactly right, but maybe we're not on the same page with the protection or the route concept or something else that may go wrong, and then at the end of the day, it becomes a failure that way. And so what we're trying to do is get all 11 to understand the details and what we're asking of them, just to focus on just their job. Do your 1/11th, to the best of your ability. And that's when you find success is our guys are all on their details, and there is no letdown at any of those spots.
Declan, when the offensive staff took over, what was when you're sitting through watching the roster, or the plays from like last year and the year before, like what was your impression of DJ Moore when you first got in?
Not that different than I feel about him now. He's a very explosive player with the ball in his hands. Obviously, now getting to work with him, I really enjoy the person. I enjoy who he is in the building, and same guy every day. But he's a guy that is a weapon when you use him, and he's done a good job every time we've asked him to go do something. He's doing it. He's handled. Obviously you're looking at it and you would say like, oh, there's a little less production than maybe we would have anticipated. But I don't think that's any part of what he's doing. I think he's doing a great job of just staying the course, and like a lot of our guys that have had breakthrough games or things like that, you just stay on it, and eventually you just keep pounding away, and it shows up.
His first 2 years here, he was targeted a lot on those short to intermediate throws. That's changed this year. What did you see about his skill set that made you want to utilize him elsewhere?
There's a lot of weapons in our offense. We try to move them all around. There's a lot of guys that we're trying to target, and so he gets moved around a little bit. He's a smart player, so we feel really comfortable moving him to different spots, and so that can be a negative or a strength depending on where we're trying to go with the ball. But I just would say about DJ, he's done a great job of doing exactly what we've asked of him, and he continues to do so.
Does Caleb need to target him more?
About talking to Caleb about goals, even going back to the spring. Do you talk big picture with him about, this is how you become our franchise QB, or, we see you as that? Like, what are those discussions like, managing that part of his mindset?
Yeah, we talked about it last week a little bit, just as a whole offense. Like, the biggest thing is just keeping our eyes on the road. Obviously, you want to be able to kind of step back and look at the macro. You want to be able to look at the big picture and say, this is where we're headed as a team, and, personally as well. But the second you take your eyes off of what's right in front of you, start looking in the rear view or out the window, you start to lose control of the car. And so the biggest thing for him is, let's focus on the next task at hand. Let's get ready to go play this week and show up on Sunday, and all that other stuff will take care of itself. But really, it's just maximizing what can we do today to try to be the best we can be, and to try to put our team in position to go win.
Thank you. One more thing on DJ Moore. Does Caleb need to target him more?
I think Caleb's doing a great job of doing what we're asking him to do within the concept. We're trying to build these plays to feed everybody, and it just so happens, like Ben has talked about it before, there's plays in every game for all of our guys, and sometimes those things might be a throw that he's the primary, and the coverage doesn't dictate that the ball goes there. And so both those guys are doing a good job of staying the course, and they're going to continue to do so.
Notable about the way Tennessee ran the football and found ways to do it successfully last week?
Yeah, I think that you know, really it goes back to it shows up like their fundamental stuff shows up. We want to try to spin it to us. You know, I think what's going to make us successful being able to run the football is to play with great pad level, understand where we're going in the targeting, which becomes a little bit easier this week in that you kind of know where they're going to be, and yet it's a challenge because they're a really good defense. But we have to go back to focus on what makes us us, where what we want to show up in the run game, and that's the O line, that's the tight ends, that's the backs, and then that's us blocking the perimeter.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead.
All the explosives at Sunday in Green Bay, the one right before halftime, what was your diagnosis of what caused the coverage down?
Yeah, look, I really put that on me. I got to coach that up better in terms of how we have to defend that. They had a good play. We didn't defend it as well as we needed to, and really I got to do a better job there.
How are the Browns different with Shador, your quarterback?
Well, look, I think there's a lot of things that they're doing that are similar to what they've done in the past. Still, big wide zone running team with the keepers that come off of it. So that's still a big part of their offense. I think probably the thing I've noticed a little bit more in the last few weeks is them trying to get the ball down the field a little bit more. So they've been really explosive in terms of some of the things they've done in the passing game. The screen game has been outstanding for them. Both, really kind of in all three phases, getting the ball to the wideouts, getting the ball to the tight ends, getting the ball to the runners in the screen game. So they've done a really good job of that. And then, there's some downfield passing game that they've been able to connect on the last couple of weeks.
You guys have been so good at taking the ball away. Do your guys make note when there's a rookie who hasn't seen a whole lot in the NFL?
Yeah, look, I think we're always looking for opportunities to take the ball away, regardless of who's playing. So, yeah, I mean, we're looking for where those opportunities might present themselves and let the game play out. Just like always, though, it really goes to studying the game plan, knowing what our assignments are, make sure we put ourselves in the right positions, and then when the picture becomes clear in terms of where those opportunities are, we got to take advantage of the opportunities that we have.
What did you see from Jalen Johnson? How close is he to be back like full time?
Yeah, look, I think he's getting closer and closer each and every week. I think when you look at it and you think about a guy that really hadn't played a lot of football, basically in about a year, it takes a little bit of time to kind of get back to where you need to be. So he's working extremely hard to do that. We'll get out here and practice today and see where we're at, but I'm pleased with the progress that he's making.
What do you see in Fannon's skill set that's made him friendly no matter who's been?
Yeah, I think he's really athletic. I think he's faster than maybe what that time speed would say. He runs good routes, and really he does a great job after the catch. I mean, he's a violent runner after the catch. He can make you miss. He can run over you, run through you. So I think he's certainly a weapon in their offense.
Short sample size, but has Shador had any elements to his game that you didn't expect, or is it about what you expected from his profile?
Well, look, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I didn't do a lot of studying on him, coming out. So, but based on what I've seen, I see a guy that plays with, a little bit of a swagger. He's got a little moxie to him. I think he brings a little bit of excitement to that football team. And I think what you've seen is each week, he's gotten a little bit better. In some tough conditions last week, I thought he played really well.
What was your assessment of the pass rush in Green Bay? Obviously, you guys didn't get home a lot, but there was a significant amount of pressure.
I think each and every week we're improving a little bit in that area. I mean, you always want a little bit more, but I do think we did some things to get the quarterback off the spot a few times. And look, they do a good job of getting the ball out of quarterback does a good job of getting the ball out of his hands. So.
Dennis, how does Shador stack up with just how calm his feet are, his presence is in the pocket compared to some of the other young quarterbacks you've seen on film or those you've faced?
Yeah, I mean, I think he does a good job. Obviously, you still see, some signs of, a rookie quarterback, but in terms of being a rookie and composure in the pocket, I think, we had one pass to Fannin down the, defensive left sideline where he stood in the pocket and, took a shot in the pocket and yet, presented a really good ball, for the receiver to catch. So I see a guy that's got good pocket presence. I see a guy when it's not there that can create. So I think he poses some significant challenges.
You always want to put teams in third and long. Is there any more focus on it? Because after on earlier downs, last week's game, you guys were great on third and long, but they had a lot of third and shorts.
Yeah, we got to do a better job of getting teams to the longer distances. When you're playing games and you're living in that 3rd and 2 to 3 world, it makes it a lot more difficult. So, early down success, first and second down success. Generally, when you're able to have success on first and second down and get into the 3rd and longer situations, it's advantageous to the defense.
Teams that have made playoffs and gone pretty deep in it. How have you seen Ben handle just the notion of playoffs and team meetings, acknowledging it without dwelling on it, or it?
Yeah,
is there
quite honestly, he hadn't spoken a lot about it, to be honest with you, and typically that's the best way to go about it. I mean, his deal has been for all of us. Let's focus on the process. Let's focus on the things that we have to do to get ourselves prepared to win a game. And I know it's cliche, the 1-0 every week, but that's really all you control. We don't control anything that's happened in the past. We don't control anything that's going to happen in the future right now. What we control is the here and now. I think he's done a great job with the team of keeping them focused on the task at hand, and that's what you have to do to be able to be consistently successful in our league.
Is this a big week for that, given that there's kind of sandwiched between your rivals?
It's the only focus we're on right now is Cleveland. It's the only game we have any control over, so our sole focus is on these guys, and it's a laser focus this week.
The offensive line has been in flux, and it will be again this week. How do you go about finding the vulnerabilities and making that an advantage for you?
Well, look, I think we've seen most of their guys at some point in the season, on the offensive line. So we've done a lot of study in terms of who their guys are, who their guys potentially could be, and then we have to adjust based on the lineup that's in the game. But the number one thing we have to be able to do is we got to be able to defend the scheme first before we can worry about how we're attacking different players.